everyone, welcome back to Poya Actual Speaking. My name is Jennifer Clyde. Now, if you did tune in during our last lesson, you may know what we're going to talk about today. We'll be talking about trends and fads. Now, a trend, you may all know what it is. A fad is very similar to a trend, but usually it doesn't last as long as a trend. But basically, they're the same thing, trend and fad. So what is a trend? What is a fad? A lot of people say they are trendsetters. A lot of people follow trends. But of course, there are serious trends and also trivial trends. Now, basically, anything that is commonplace at one time and then becomes less commonplace is a trend. It comes and goes, right? Now, depending on the economy, yes, trends can change as well. I think during the early 2000s, several years ago, women, right, when the economy wasn't as good, the skirt lengths actually changed. So when the economy is doing good, yeah, skirts tend to get shorter. And when skirts get longer, it means that the economy is doing quite poorly. Now, when women started to jump into the workplace, something came out. A lot of designers came up with leather tote bags. These are kind of purses that women could take to work, and then even when they go out to hang out with friends, they were very fashionable items. And even for men, there's something called a merce. Now, we call a kanusa in English nurse. I'm not talking about a nurse, I am talking about a merce. M-U-R-S-E. Now, this is a very masculine bag for men. It's a very fashionable item, so a lot of hip guys these days carry around merces. A lot of designer merces are out there, and men carry these merces to put their cell phones, even their gadgets and other things in them. So these are trends you could possibly talk about. Now, are you a trendsetter, or are you a trend follower, or are you indifferent? Do you not care? Let's talk about all of that today in today's lesson. Let's get started. All right, everyone, welcome back. Let's begin with our warm-up segment. Let's brainstorm together. But as I did talk about merces, you all know what a merce is by now, right? Do you happen to own a merce? If you do carry around a masculine purse called a merce, perhaps you are a trend follower, right? You put your smartphone in there, your wallet, and other little gadgets. So definitely, you could call yourself a trend follower. Now, it could be a pain to find out where you can find out about the latest trends, and it could be a pain to figure out which items you should or should not spend money on. But aside from that, let's brainstorm our cues together, of course, with the 5 W's and how. The first W is who. Now, what type of person are you? Who are you when it comes to trends and fads? Are you a trendsetter? A trend setter is a person that starts a trend. So if you are a fashionable person, for example, and you start to wear neon yellow and everyone follows you, they wear yellow, just like you would be a trend setter. So do you start trends? Are you a trend setter, or are you a trend follower? A trend follower is, as the word says, you follow trends. You see what is popular at the time and you do the same as others do. You would be a trend follower. What about a trend hunter? Yeah, you're hunting for something. You're always on the lookout for what's new. What is the latest trend, okay? Then you would be a trend hunter. Or are you indifferent? Indifferent means what? You don't care. You're not interested. You don't care what's hip, what's trendy. Then you would be an indifferent person when it comes to trends and fads. Let's move on to what? Now, let's talk about the kinds of trends. Now, what trend have you followed in the past, or are you following right now? What kind of trend do you set? What do you regret following? To tell you about myself, back in the 80s or even the 90s, we used to spray a lot of hairspray and our bangs would be like this. Did you do that? My bangs were heading high up into the sky, lots of hairspray, and I kind of regret following that trend. So you could talk about, oh, why did I do that? Talk about a trend that you regret following. Also, tend to follow. What kind of trend do you tend to follow? Now, you can talk about maybe fashion trends. I like fashion trends. Then you could say I follow or I tend to follow fashion trends. Now, are you or were you obsessed about? What kind of trend are you right now? Are you really crazy about? Or were you in the past obsessed about? What kind of trend were you crazy about in the past? Talk about the trends now and the trends in the past that you were really crazy obsessed about. Moving on to another what. As I did mention, there are serious trends and trivial trends. Serious trends are what? Trends such as economic trends, social trends, business trends, even religious or trends relating to technology. Let's take, for example, business, okay? Now, when it comes to business trends, we see more and more women jumping into the workplace. So nowadays, it is the trend. A lot of women are working. So that could be a business trend. A religious trend, you can say, maybe these days, not as many people are going to church. That could also be a trend. So talk about these trends, and you can also talk about trivial, which means that these are not too serious. Trivial trends, such as fashion trends, design, gaming. There are trends in the gaming industry as well. What about dance? Yeah. What was the most recent dance trend? I would have to say definitely Psy, right? The Balchum, was it? Yeah, the dance that he made crazy. So that dance went viral around the world, and that dance was definitely a trend that people followed. Talk about self-expression and even music. Yeah, even in the music industry, there are trends that people follow, right? Okay, now when you follow trends, talk about a time you were most obsessed with trends. Perhaps in your teens, perhaps in your early 20s, perhaps right now. Also, did you never follow trends because you are indifferent? You don't care about trends? Talk about how you never follow trends. Also, if you always follow trends, if you are always looking out for what is the latest trend, talk about how you're always following trends. Do you follow your friends, or do you watch television or movies and keep updated by taking a look at celebrities? And do you follow what they do? Okay, so talk about these as well. Now, where you purchase things, items, you can purchase things online. Establishments, we talked about this. An establishment is basically another word for store, like a facility that you actually go to. Or do you go purchase your things on home shopping, watching TV? A lot of people are addicted to home shopping. Can be dangerous, so watch out. Okay, where you find out about trends. How do you find out about the trends? On the internet? Do you read magazines to find out what is hot these days? Do you ask your friends or follow what your friends do? Do you find out about trends on television, at department stores, or clothing shops? Some people actually go out onto the streets. So you may go to the very popular places and just watch people. Watch what they are wearing. Take a look at the colors they are wearing so you can find out about trends on the streets as well. Moving on, why? Now, why do you follow or why don't you follow trends? Do you think you are a trendsetter? Do you not think you are a trendsetter? Talk about the why reasons as well. Now, how much time, how much money, how much effort and energy do you spend looking for what's in? Now, the big word here is in. So what does in mean in this situation? In, you're inside with the crowd. Basically, it means that it is popular. So once again, how much time, money, effort, or energy do you spend looking for what is popular? What's in? Talk about that as well. And finally, let's move on to how you feel about certain people. How do you feel about people that follow trends or don't follow trends? Okay, it can be your personal opinion, and it's great to add your personal opinion, especially in interviews and, of course, in a casual talk. Now, that was a lot of information. We're done brainstorming the cues. Let's now move on to actual talk. What's trendy these days in the fashion world?
Well, I know blue is supposed to be the new black, right?
Oh, that's true, actually. Colors are really trendy. There are a lot of colors that people follow in the different seasons, right? I think neon is really in these days, like bright colors. Speaking
Well,
of,
are you
I'm
going
not,
to be wearing some
I'm
neon
not
soon?
wearing any neon right now, so I guess I don't really follow those trends.
Are you a trendsetter or a trend follower?
You know, I don't really like to differentiate between being a trendsetter or being a trend follower, but I think unconsciously I do get stuck in trying to keeping up with the Joneses, you know, trying to keep up with the trends during that time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I was really into what they call arm candy, which is basically a stack of bracelets all on your wrist and things like that. That was really trendy, and it's still trendy now. So I guess in that sense, I'm a trend follower. Do you
Okay.
like to follow trends?
No, not really. I'm old enough that I've kind of discovered what, fashion works best with me.
Right.
And I don't look for the new, fresh, hip things.
Right.
But I suppose I've fallen victim to a couple of trends in the past. You know,
Oh.
that zippered jeans, hip hop style when I was young.
Oh, yeah. Would you say that that's a trend you kind of regret following?
No, it was fun at the time, I
You
think.
liked it?
Yeah.
You know, there was a trend that I followed, which I kind of regret now when I think about it. It was back when I was in middle school, so maybe like 10 years ago, I was really into highlighting my hair, right? So amongst this black hair, I had like bright orange or yellow streaks. And when I look at pictures now, I think I regretted that a lot. Yeah, but you know, these days, trends like they just come and go. So once you jump on that bandwagon, you're kind of in with the crowd, but then later on that trend kind of falls away. So it's really like a cycle, I feel like.
Maybe it's better to set trends than to follow them.
Maybe. Now, we all know by now that Peter and Rachel are definitely or have been trend followers. They have been following trends, but in the end, yeah, Peter did mention maybe it's better to set trends than to follow trends. They regret having followed certain trends. So we'll check that out together. Okay, let's take a look. Now, Rachel said, what's trendy these days in the fashion world? We talked about trends and fads, what's popular, what's in these days, but what is trendy? A person can be trendy and something can be trendy as well. It means that in an item, it is a popular item. It is a trendy item. And also when you say a person is trendy, you are saying that that person is up to date when it comes to trends. A very fashionable person would be called a trendy person. Now, she's asking what's popular these days? What's trendy these days in the fashion world? Okay, so fashion-wise. Peter says, well, I know blue is supposed to be the new black, right? So blue is supposed to be. He's saying this is what he heard from others. He thinks, because he has heard from others, that the blue now is the new black. The new black, this itself is an idiomatic expression. The new black, it means that is in fashion. It's very popular. It's the item. It's very popular at the moment. So it is a trendy thing. So black is always trendy, right? It's always great. But he's saying right now, blue is supposed to be the new black, meaning blue is very trendy. Blue is very popular these days. Now, Rachel says, oh, that's true. Actually, colors are really trendy. That's right. Colors are trendy. As I said, if something is trendy, it means it is popular, right? And then she says there are a lot of colors that people follow in the different seasons, right? That's true. Now, especially in the spring season, people tend to follow the trend when it comes to colors, and they turn to brighter colors, lighter colors. What about in the fall and winter? Darker colors, right? So she's saying people follow in the different seasons. I think neon is really in these days, like bright colors. Remember, in means popular. So what's popular these days? Neon is really popular. It's in these days, like bright colors. Now, if you did not know what neon is, yeah, she explained. For example, like bright colors. Neon colors. 형광등, we call that neon light or fluorescent light. And 형광색 is neon or neon colors. So we're talking about 형광 yellow, like neon yellow, neon green, neon orange, all those bright colors. And she says these neon colors, they are in right now. Now he says, are you going to be wearing some neon soon? And she says, I'm not wearing any neon right now, so I guess I don't really follow those trends. Now she's talking about certain trends she could follow, but she says she does not really follow those trends, meaning wearing neon colors. Now he asks, are you a trend setter or are you a trend follower? We went over these. Do you set trends or do you follow trends? She says, I don't really like to differentiate, okay? Meaning make a difference. Say which is better between being a trendsetter or being a trend follower, okay? But she says unconsciously. What does that mean? Without knowing. You are unconscious. She says, without knowing, unconsciously, I do get stuck in trying to keeping up with the Joneses. She said keeping, but it should be this. It is an idiomatic expression. To keep up with the Joneses means to try to live a certain lifestyle. Try to follow a certain lifestyle as others keep. So say, for example, you have a neighbor and they get a new car, a very expensive car. If you try to keep up with the Joneses, you would get a new car, an expensive car, just like your neighbor. So if you say keep up with the Joneses, it means you are trying to be exactly like others around you, whether whether you have to spend a lot of money on doing something or not. Moving on, trying to keep up with the trends during that time. Very similar, keep up with something, meaning you try to do the same thing, okay? 뒤떨어지지 않도록 무언가를 하다. Keep up with the trends during that time. She says, for example, I was really into, be into, remember? It means to be really interested in what they call arm candy. What is an arm candy? She explains. An arm candy is basically a stack of bracelets all on your wrist and things like that. A stack of bracelets. You may have seen, whether you're interested in fashion or not, a lot of women these days wear lots of bracelets. Thin bracelets, thick bracelets, 팔찌죠. And they not only wear one of them, they wear many of them. A stack of, many of them. And they're called arm candy. Keep that in mind. So she says that she was really into wearing arm candy. That was really trendy, okay? It was trendy and still it's trendy. So I guess in that sense, I'm a trend follower. So she is saying once these arm candies, the arm candy became popular, she also wore them. So she's saying maybe I am a trend follower. Moving on. Now, she asks, do you like to follow trends? So she's asking Peter if he likes to follow trends. He says, no, not really. So he's not really a trend follower. I'm old enough that I've kind of discovered what fashion works best with or for me. Okay, so he's saying, I know what looks good on me and I know what looks bad on me. So just because it is trendy doesn't mean I try to wear it. Okay, so depending on the situation, sometimes I follow the trend, sometimes I don't. But he says, I don't look for the new, fresh, hip things. These are basically very similar expressions, especially when it comes to trends. New, meaning trendy. Fresh, meaning a trendy item. And also hip, meaning very trendy as well. Okay? But I suppose I've fallen victim to, we talked about this expression too, a couple of trends in the past. fall victim to, especially in this case, he's just talking about how he regrets doing something. And he gives an example, that zipper jeans hip hop style when I was young. So he has fallen victim to zipper jeans hip hop style. Zipper jeans, you all know, zipper, 지퍼죠. So there once used to be these hip-hop baggy bags with lots of zippers. And he's saying he once followed that trend. He wore these zipper jeans hip-hop style and he's fallen victim to it. He fell victim to it, meaning he regrets wearing them. Okay, let's move on. Now, she says, would you say that that's a trend you kind of regret following? Yeah, great thing you can talk about. Talk about the trends you regret following. And he says, no, it was fun at the time, I think. So he doesn't really regret it, but he thinks about it as a fun experience. Now, there was a trend that I followed, which I kind of regret now. So she's saying she followed a trend and she regrets it. Now, she says, it was back when I was in middle school, a long, long time ago, and I was really into highlighting my hair. Now, to highlight something, especially when you're taking notes, if you highlight something, what are you doing it? You're coloring that part with neon colors so they stand out. Even when it comes to highlighting your hair, it means putting streaks in your hair with bright colors, okay? I think in Korean they call it 브릿지 넣는다라고 하죠. That's highlighting. You don't say bridge, you say I highlighted my hair. And she explains, so amongst this black hair, I had bright orange or yellow streaks. A streak is like a thin line. So she's saying amongst this black hair, okay, I had orange or yellow streaks, bright colors. Okay, she had highlighted her hair with bright colors. And when I look at pictures now, I think I regretted that a lot. Now, Rachel did say regretted, but yeah, even in casual talk, people do make mistakes. The correct form should be I regret that a lot because you're thinking about what you regret now, okay? Moving on. But these days, trends, they just come and go. So you jump on that bandwagon, you're kind of in with the crowd, but then later on, that trend kind of falls away. There's a lot of information in this long sentence. She says, trends come and go. Once they're popular, and then before you know it, they're not popular. They come and go. It's one day a trend, the next day it's no longer a trend. You jump on that bandwagon is very similar to keep up with the Joneses. It means to follow a popular trend. If something is popular, you go ahead and do it. You're jumping on that bandwagon. And then she says you're in with the crowd. You can be in with the crowd, meaning you are a member of the crowd. You are one of them. So basically she's saying when a trend, it becomes popular, you jump on the bandwagon. You do as others do, and you're one of the fashionistas. And then she says, so it's really like a cycle. She's talking about trends, okay? So it comes and goes, it falls away, it fades away. Now, Peter says maybe it's better to set trends than to follow them, okay? And I guess they agree. Yeah, Rachel says maybe. They talked about their experiences when it comes to following trends. They regret having worn something or having followed a certain trend, but the conclusion is, yeah, as I said, maybe it's better to set trends, become a fashionista, make people follow you. Okay, that is it for the actual talk. Let's take a moment to listen to it one more time with the subtitles.
What's trendy these days in the fashion world?
Well, I know blue is supposed to be the new black, right?
Oh, that's true, actually. Colors are really trendy. There are a lot of colors that people follow in the different seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think neon is really in these days, like bright colors. Speaking
Well,
of,
are you going
not-
to be wearing some neon
I'm not
soon?
wearing any neon right now, so I guess I don't really follow those trends.
Are you a trendsetter or a trend follower?
You know, I don't really like to differentiate between being a trendsetter or being a trend follower, but I think unconsciously I do get stuck in trying to keeping up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the trends in during that time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I was really into what they call arm candy, which is basically a stack of bracelets all on your wrist and things like that. That was really trendy, and it's still trendy now. So I guess in that sense, I'm a trend follower. Do you
Okay.
like to follow trends?
No, not really. I'm old enough that I've kind of discovered what, fashion works best with me.
Right.
And I don't look for the new, fresh, hip things.
Right.
But I suppose I've fallen victim to a couple of trends in the past. You know,
Oh.
that zippered jeans, hip hop style when I was young.
Oh yeah. Would you say that that's a trend you kind of regret following?
No, it was fun at the time, I
You
think.
liked it?
Yeah.
There was a trend that I followed, which I kind of regret now when I think about it. It was back when I was in middle school, so maybe like 10 years ago. I was really into highlighting my hair, right? So amongst this black hair, I had like bright orange or yellow streaks. And when I look at pictures now, I think I regretted that a lot. Yeah, but these days, trends like they just come and go. So once you jump on that bandwagon, you're kind of in with the crowd, but then later on that trend kind of falls away. So it's really like a cycle, I feel like.
Maybe it's better to set trends than to follow them.
Maybe.
Now let's turn to actual talk expressions. Let's find out how you can talk about popular items. Now these are several ways to say something is popular. So what's in these days? What's popular these days? You can say the new tablet computer is the bomb. It's popular. Is all the rage these days. Remember, this is 폭탄 in Korean, which does have a negative feeling to it in Korean, but if you say the bomb, it means it is wonderful. It's very popular. It's super excellent. So always say the bomb, not a bomb. It's the bomb. Or all the rage, meaning people are crazy about it. It's popular. What else? In fashion this spring, ruffles and sheers are happening. It's happening, meaning it's very popular. Ruffles are popular. Black is happening this season, okay? What else? For men, tailored suits and pocket squares. Yeah, pocket squares are booming trends nowadays. Something is booming, meaning it's very popular as well. Moving on to trends come and go. Trends fade away, meaning it's 1 second very popular and then it kind of disappears. It's no longer a trend. It comes and goes. It fades away. Also, the spring, summer, fall, and winter look is hard to pull off. If you pull something off, it means you succeed in doing something. But if you say it's hard to pull off, you're saying that it is not easy to succeed. Meaning, just because it is fashionable doesn't mean it's going to look good on you. Moving on, ways you find the latest fashion trends, you can head online. Check online to find out what's hot. You can watch designer runway shows online as well. You turn to the streets, meaning you go outdoors. You go to the streets to keep up with the trends. Also, what type are you? Are you indifferent? Meaning, are you not interested? You can say, it's a pain to find out what trends are in, okay? Or, I don't try to keep up with or follow the latest trend or fad. Now, you are indifferent. You don't care about the trend. These are some things you can say. You could also say, I could care less about trendy items, trends, or I couldn't care less about. It's used actually both ways. You can say, I could care less about, or I couldn't care less about, meaning you really don't care, okay? You are indifferent. Moving on to what type are you? Are you interested in the trends? You can say, I see myself as a trendsetter. So you are saying, I'm a trendsetter. I tend to ride the wave when it comes to fashion trends. Ride the wave means to go with the flow. You follow trends. And here we go. One last one. In fall, I tend to turn my thoughts from summer easy casual to fall's latest fashion trends. So you're talking about turning your thoughts from A to something, meaning you are very interested in, yes, fashion trends. All right, that is a wrap for our actual expressions. Practice them on your own and let's move on.
What's trendy these days in the fashion world?
Well, I know blue is supposed to be the new black, right?
Oh, that's true, actually. Colors are really trendy. There are a lot of colors that people follow in the different seasons, right? I think neon is really in these days, like bright colors.
Well,
Speaking
are
of,
you
I'm
going to be
not.
wearing some
I'm
neon
not
soon?
wearing any neon right now, so I guess I don't really follow those trends.
Are you a trendsetter or a trend follower?
You know, I don't really like to differentiate between being a trendsetter or being a trend follower, but I think unconsciously I do get stuck in trying to keeping up with the Joneses, trying to keep up with the trends during that time.
Yeah.
Like for example, I was really into what they call arm candy, which is basically a stack of bracelets all on your wrist and things like that. That was really trendy, and it's still trendy now. So I guess in that sense, I'm a trend follower. Do you
Okay.
like to follow trends?
No, not really. I'm old enough that I've kind of discovered what, fashion works best with me.
Right.
And I don't look for the new, fresh, hip things.
Right.
But I suppose I've fallen victim to a couple of trends in the past. You know,
Oh.
that zippered jeans, hip hop style when I was young.
Oh yeah. Would you say that that's a trend you kind of regret following?
No, it was fun at the time, I
You
think.
liked it?
Yeah.
There was a trend that I followed, which I kind of regret now when I think about it. It was back when I was in middle school, so maybe like 10 years ago. I was really into highlighting my hair, right? So amongst this black hair, I had like bright orange or yellow streaks. And when I look at pictures now, I think I regretted that a lot. Yeah, but these days, trends like they just come and go. So once you jump on that bandwagon, you're kind of in with the crowd, but then later on that trend kind of falls away. So it's really like a cycle, I feel like.
Maybe it's better to set trends than to follow them.
Maybe.
Today's lesson is information packed. I am running out of breath. So let's take a break with an idiom today. Today's idiom is fashion victim. Fashion, victim, 희생자. 무슨 말일까요? Let's check out a sentence. Paris Hilton is such a fashion victim. She wears every faddish trend that comes out. She wears every popular trend that comes out. I'm sure you know what the meaning of this is. Here it is. Fashion victim is a person who slavishly follows a trend. 맞아요. 패션 희생자라고 해도 되겠죠. 잘 어울리지도 않는데도 유행이면 무조건 따라하는 혹은 고가의 명품만 고집하는 사람을 fashion victim이라고 합니다. Okay? Here's one more sentence. How can he wear so many trends at once? He's such a sad fashion victim. 여기서 sad는 슬픈 fashion victim이 아니라 정말 안 됐다. 안 된 패션 희생자가 됐구나. 참 불쌍하게 여기는 상황이 되겠죠. Okay, that is all for today's idiom. Make use of it on your own in the future.
Are you a trendsetter? Do you follow trends? What kind of trends or fads are popular these days? What's hot and what's not? What kinds of trends or fads are you into? How do you keep up with the Joneses?
I wouldn't define myself as a trendsetter. However, I try to follow trends when it looks good on me. I don't follow trends all the time, but I do read a lot of magazines. By reading magazines and watching TV, I think that this season's big trend is vivid colors or neon colors. I saw a lot of celebrities wearing a vivid bag, vivid clothes, and vivid lipsticks and vivid colored makeups. It was kind of hard for me to try to wear something in vivid color, so I tried to follow the trend by wearing a lipstick. I believe that it's also going to be hard for lots of people to follow the trend this season because the neon color is really hard to match. But it will be nice for other people to also try to wear something vivid, like me, at least a lipstick, to follow the trend of this season.
Okay, she did mention that she is not a trend setter and she tries to follow trends sometimes. So here is a question. Is she a fashion victim or not? Of course she's not. Okay, let's check out some great points she added to her interview. She said, by reading magazines. Remember, we talked about how you find out about trends? She reads magazines and watches TV. I think that this season's big trend is vivid colors or neon colors. I did mention these, vivid and neon colors. Vivid colors are very bright colors, brightly colored colors, and neon, as we know, are even brighter, like fluorescent yellow. 형광색이라고 설명드렸죠? So these colors are popular. I believe that it's also going to be hard for lots of people to follow the trend for this season. Now, why is she saying that? She's saying that because it's hard to look good in these neon colors. This is a great thing to say. She's talking about others, how it could be difficult to follow this trend. Moving on to some oopsies. I saw a lot of celebrities wearing vivid bag, vivid clothes, and vivid lipsticks and vivid colored makeups. Are you wondering what's wrong? Well, I'll make it simple for you. You can say, I saw a lot of celebrities wearing vivid colored bags, clothes, lipstick, and makeup. So keep it simple. Bags, clothes, lipstick, and even makeup, and tie it by using wearing. Just once, vivid colors. You don't have to repeat it over and over and over again. 반복을 특별히 할 필요 없겠죠? Make it simple, okay? Moving on to one more. I tried to follow the trend by wearing a lipstick. This is a very trivial, a very tiny mistake, but you should say, I tried to follow the trend by wearing lipstick. Never a lipstick. It should be wearing lipstick, all right? So please do keep that in mind. And that is all for today's actual interview. Great job. Now, I'm afraid that is all the time we have for today's lesson. I do hope that since it was a rather casual topic, you had lots of fun. We did have a lot of information in the actual talk between Peter and Rachel, so please do go over it. We do have the script up on our homepage, so feel free to check it out on your own and practice them as well. To be honest, since we're talking about trends and we mentioned neon colors, bright colors, vivid colors are in these days, it's the trend. So our program stylist, she actually prepared a neon colored, it was a neon green colored jacket. I tried it on, but I said, no, maybe not. So I changed. So I guess I am a trend follower and I'm definitely not a fashion victim, okay? I know what looks good on me and what doesn't look good on me. Okay, everyone, do not be a fashion victim just because it is a trend. Do not try to follow it no matter what. Yeah, keep your own style and be trendy at the same time. I'll be joining you next time with another interesting topic. We'll be talking about making appointments. Now, of course, making appointments at the doctor, at restaurants, or even at the dentist. These are all making reservations or appointments, but we're focusing on appointments. So we won't be really talking about restaurants, but rather establishments such as hospitals and dentists, all right? So keep that in mind. In the meantime, do check out our homepage at ebse.co.kr and type in Tennipo의 Actual Speaking in the search engine and take advantage of the script we have for you on our homepage as well and leave us some posts. Okay, everyone, I'll see you again next time. Until then, take care and bye for now.